here. So today's message is how to live an authentic life. And the truth is, for any live video or message that I do, I just let it be spirit-led every time. I don't worry too much about what the topic is going to be. I might, do some research for that topic, but I really let Spirit determine what that message is going to be about, because Spirit bases that message on the receiver, on what that person needs to receive. And right now, Spirit is very clear that we need some Tibetan bells, those are the Buddhist bells, I think, actually. And then we need to know how to live an authentic life. It's good. And so when I was writing this out, I was asking myself, what does it mean to be authentic? Because I do a lot of coaching, and a lot of times that is a question people ask. How can I live my truth? And really what they're asking me is, how can I live my truth if I don't have the permission or the approval of those around me? Because I can't be who I really am unless I have the approval of those in my circles and the approval of strangers on the internet. I don't know if you're aware of this or not, but an entire generation of children are learning that their value is based on how many likes and how many hearts of strangers. Cannot tell you the number of times my youngest daughter has asked for her own YouTube channel. Why? So she can get likes. Because that means she has friends. And that means she's popular. And that means she's okay. And mean mama will not let her have that YouTube channel, despite how many hundreds of hours of videos of her doing gymnastics exist on her phone and my phone for said YouTube channel when it happens. If it happens, it's not going to happen. But we're just letting her come to that conclusion gently instead of, never. What we're saying is, not now, you're too young. Not now, you're too young. But we have an entire generation that are learning that the way to have value is by performing for others, by having that Instagram, that Musical.ly, that YouTube, that Facebook. But I'm now told Facebook is for old people, so they don't use that one anymore. They use the Musical.ly, the Instagram, and the YouTube, and then some I don't even know of. But what are they learning when they're having these expressions and these desires? Is that they're learning how to avoid their own authenticity, because it's not about who they are or what they want to do. It's about, how can I get those likes? And if we think about that in terms of life, not just on social media and not just on the internet, how much of what we do every single day is based on the approval of others, of getting their approval, their love, their attention, whatever it is. It could be your coworkers. It could be your family. It could be your neighbors. And so how to live a life of authenticity in this world where we're taught to change everything about ourselves so that we can be liked can be a real challenge. So to be authentic, I was asking Spirit, so what does it mean to be authentic? And they gave me this sentence: your beliefs must match your words, and your words must match your actions. That's simple. If your beliefs, your words, and your actions all match, you're living an authentic life, meaning you're living your truth. You're being true to who you are. How hard is that? That's ridiculously hard, right? Because how many of us sitting right here, right now, we have some belief that we want to express, maybe about ourselves, maybe about what we want to do as a job, maybe about a gift we have, maybe we want to sing, maybe we want to paint, maybe we want to dance, maybe we want to speak, maybe we want to be, maybe we want to write. And how many of us are not doing that for the simple fact that we're afraid we won't have the approval of those around us? So our beliefs and our words and our actions are not matching because we fear rejection of those in our circles. Well, who are you to sing? Who are you to paint? Who are you to speak? Who are you to write? And the truth is, to live the most authentic life possible, all you have to do is live that truth. Your beliefs, your actions, and your thoughts. When they match, you're authentic. And maybe that's not for everyone, and I think that's one of the big things to understand. Maybe you're not everyone's cup of tea, but you are someone's cup of tea. Your people, your tribe. That's who you find. And if you're looking for approval, that's the only approval that matters. Your people, your tribe. There's this idea that we have to appeal to everyone, right? That's it. That's what YouTube, Instagram, and social media tells us. That if we water ourselves down and we have just a little bit of, we offer just a little bit of everything, then we can appeal to everybody. And then we're everybody's cup of tea, right? No, that is the fastest way to cause a spiritual crisis, is you start trying to change who you are for the approval of those around you. You know, you're really not a buffet. You're fine dining. You're a great example of fine dining, but you're not a buffet. You're not here to please everyone. And so there are simple actions we can take every single day to become more authentic in our own lives. I wrote down 9, but I could make this list last forever. But I wrote down 9. Number 1, be in the moment, drink it in. How many times in the day, like right now, let's be honest, who's thinking about lunch? I am. Scott is. Jade is. We're thinking about lunch because what? Well, we know we're going to need to eat. And so we're hungry. So, it's perfectly normal to be thinking about lunch. I'm thinking about a lot of things, including lunch. How many of us are ever truly, really present in the moment? You want to pull yourself back in. Find something to be grateful for right now. Something in this moment. I'm so grateful Scott made this for me so that I have something to put paper on. I'm grateful for that. So I can sit here and I can be grateful for this, and it will pull my energy back in. Whenever we're thinking about the past or the future or lunch, or thinking about all these other things, we're taking our energy and we're just spreading it, we're proliferating it. And so we're not fully present. Pull yourself back in by being present in this moment, finding something right now to focus on, to be grateful for. Focus on your breath. Focus on your heart center. Focus on, your toes to your head. Pull yourself back in your body. Drink in this moment. Be grateful for right now. Number 2, and it's continuation, practice gratitude. Not just in the moment, but every day. Start your day with what I'm grateful for, what is working. When the kids were little especially, we'd get in the car to go to school, and it would just be blah. And I would say, okay, so drop the attitude, give me gratitude, 3 things. And when the closer they got to be teenagers, the more smart these answers became. Like, I'm grateful I have the right to not answer. That was one morning. That was Tatum's, by the way. I'm grateful for, that I'm going to school and getting out of this car. Okay, that counts. I'm grateful for, so if you're having trouble being present and you're having trouble living your authenticity, look at what's in your life right now. What can I be grateful for right now? It's the fastest way to shift your consciousness. It's the fastest way to be authentic. Because if you're in a state of gratitude, then you're not focusing on all the things you need to change about yourself. Again, to earn that approval. Number 3, the only approval you need is your own. We're right back to Musical.ly and Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and every other one that I know nothing about. To that idea that if I become a buffet, then everybody can find something they like about me. Be your own cup of tea. The only approval you need is your own. It really does concern me that this generation coming up, my youngest daughter's generation especially, that they're hyper concerned with the approval of strangers on the internet. That they're hyper concerned. It wasn't that long ago I was a teenager. It's been a couple of decades, but I remember the big thing I was concerned about was the people at my school approving of my clothing, approving of my hair, approving of me. There weren't strangers on the internet. I wasn't looking for the approval of other people who may or may not be authentic, who may or may not be genuine, who may or may not be kind. I wasn't looking for that. There's a meme going around, maybe you've seen it, and it says, in a world of Kardashians, be a Stevie Nicks. You know, well, I say don't even be a Stevie Nicks. Be you. You know, be you, because even that's, you know, an energy type, just like the Kardashians. Be you. Be unapologetically you. And it's okay if you're not everyone's cup of tea. I'm not. And finally, in my 40s, I'm okay with that. You know, you don't like the flavor, spit it out, move on. It's that simple. Regina's over here going, oh, Lord, Leslie. That is. Number 4, know your truth. What is true for you? This is a huge one. How many times do we think someone else's truth has to be my truth? I can remember as a kid, like, not everybody could see and hear angels, so that means it can't be true for me. You know? It can't be true, because if it's not true for everyone, then it can't be true for me, because truths are universal, right? Wrong. That's sign language for wrong. Wrong. Know your truths. What is true for you? I'm barely going to touch on this, guys, because I could spend a lot of time there. But if you are a black man in the United States in the year 2018, is your life very different from a white woman in the year 2018? If you are a young Native American, is your life different from a young white teenager? Yeah. What's true? We have different truths because we have different experiences. Honor. Everybody does that. You know, I mean, one of the things we see a lot of is a lack of compassion for the truth of others. Just because it's not true for you doesn't mean it's not true for them. Everyone has a different truth because everyone comes to the table with a different experience. And you truly cannot ever really walk in the shoes of another person. But what you can do is be compassionate for their shoes and their feet and the steps that they've taken. And say, I can't understand where you've been through, really. I can't, because I haven't walked those steps. But what I can do is I can be compassionate and in a place of love and say, I honor you and I honor your truth. And is there something I can do for you? Is there something I can do for you? And if we would just do that, we would heal a lot of the trauma on our planet. This idea that we all share, of course there's a collective truth. We're all part of it. And again, once you start diving into the Akashic Records, you see that we've all been male, we've all been female, we've all been every religion, we've spoken every language, we've been everything. But what about this lifetime right now in that place? My truth is different than your truth, and it's different than his truth and her truth and their truth. And you can only really know your own steps and your own feet and your own shoes. But what you can say is, I honor yours. I have compassion and understanding for you. I have empathy for you. And I'm going to listen when you tell me your truth. And I'm not going to try to make it my truth. And I'm not going to try to tell you your truth isn't right or your truth isn't good enough or that you need to adopt my truth. We hear that a lot, you know. If it's true for one, it's true for all. Respectfully, no, that is not the case. We have to start listening to each other, and to be authentic, we have to understand that everyone's path is different and everyone's truth is different, and it's not a threat to yours or mine. Listen. That's number 4. Number 5, forgive everyone, including yourself.
Amen.
Amen. If we would start right there, I think the rest of this would probably just fall into place easily and on its own. Forgiving everyone, including yourself. I mean, you don't need to show your hands. I'll just show mine. But how many of us have held on to the most ridiculous thing to be angry about? Why? Because we don't know how to practice forgiveness. It's not really taught to us, is it? Now, even when the song was playing, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, my Pentecostal side is about to come out and I'm about to throw my hands in the air and just commune with Spirit on this magnificent song because it feels good and it feels right. Well, the definition of forgiveness that I grew up with was this. I can remember my grandmother saying to me that if I stayed angry at someone then Jesus would have no choice but to send me to hell because I had anger in my heart. So I had to prove, because I guess Jesus couldn't see in your heart in those instances, the only way to prove to Jesus that I did not have hate in my heart was to let that person back in my life, which basically meant I was a doormat. Again and again and again, letting the same people hurt me again and again and again. And I thought that that was forgiveness. That's really not forgiveness. That's called making yourself a doormat. And as an adult, I can appreciate that. True forgiveness is we both go free. That's what forgiveness is. It doesn't right the wrong. It doesn't say, let's pretend this never happened. It doesn't say, even I'm going to let you back in my life so you can hurt me again. But what true divine soul forgiveness means is that we both go free. Both of us. We both deserve to be free from whatever happened. And if we could learn how to practice divine forgiveness on this planet, we would not be holding on to so many of our individual and collective traumas and letting them write the next page of our lives. We have to learn how to practice divine forgiveness so that we can be free. And that is what divine forgiveness is. It is freedom. It is freedom from a mistake, freedom from a really bad decision, freedom from a lapse in judgment. It's freedom. And that is divine forgiveness. It says, yes, this happened. I honor that it happened. I own that it happened. But we're not going to be tied to it anymore. We're going to move forward in healing and in hope because we have practiced divine forgiveness. And especially yourselves. I mean, if you can't forgive yourself, can you truly forgive anyone else? And if you can't forgive yourself, then how can anyone else truly forgive you? Remember, everything starts right here. We have to learn how to forgive ourselves. And to know, to quote Louise Hay, whatever decision we made, in that moment, we made that decision based on the totality of our life experiences, what we knew to be true, our feelings at the time. And we made that decision. Now, if you know differently, you choose differently. So yeah, maybe you would make a completely different decision now, but you know differently now. You know differently. You have the experience of the mistake. It benefited you. It was a lesson. So let's learn to forgive ourselves and to free ourselves so that we don't use that same pen of judgment and error to write the next chapter in our lives. New chapter, new page, new pen. Not just for everyone else, but for ourselves as well. Number 6, listen. Listen to others and to yourself. Listen to your thoughts, to your heart, and to your gut. Most of the time, when two people are having a conversation, they're not listening to understand. They're listening to respond. And when we listen to respond, typically what we're saying is, I'm going to tell you why you're wrong because I got my response ready. And what are we saying? I'm going to tell you why your truth isn't true. I'm going to tell you why your feelings aren't valid. I'm going to tell you why you're wrong. Whatever feelings someone has, there's validity in them for the simple fact they exist. Whether the circumstances explain them, whether their life, in our opinion, justifies them, if those feelings are there, they're there for a reason. And we have to learn to accept that and to stop telling people, well, you shouldn't feel that way. We have lost the ability to really listen to the feelings of those around us. Children express sadness, and we tell them there's nothing to be sad about. My dad's favorite saying here on Father's Day was, well, if you're going to cry, I'm going to give you something to cry about. If you're just going to sit there and cry, I'm going to spank you. And then you're justified in your crying because you weren't allowed to cry for your feelings. You also weren't allowed to cry when you fell and skinned your knee. But at least was if you got a spanking, there was justification for your feelings, right? So we have to learn how to be present in our feelings, and maybe equal importance here, but be present for the feelings of others and give them the right to express those feelings. Most of the time, you are not being asked to fix it. Most of the time, you're simply being asked to listen. You know, everyone here knows that part of my day job is being a medium. And it's really hard when someone comes in when they've lost someone very close to them tragically. And they're going to tell you a million ways why this was wrong, why this never should have happened, why it was 1,000,000 to 1 shot and it should be undone. And at the end of the day, all I can do is be a compassionate listener. I can't fix it. I can't justify it. I can't take it back. I can't undo it. And I cannot make it better. But what I can do is I can listen. And if that's all you can offer someone, if that's all you can do, just listen. Don't try to fix it. Don't try to justify it. Don't try to deny it. Don't try to change it. Don't try to adopt it. Don't try to amend it. Just listen. And listen to yourself as well. Don't tell yourself, well, I shouldn't feel this way. Gosh, I cannot believe I'm still upset over this. How ridiculous am I? Well, I promise you, if you just be present with those feelings and say, I don't have to justify how I feel. The feelings are validation in themselves. You get through it. You can heal. And then you can also be compassionate for other people. So number 6, listen, listen, listen to yourself and to others. Number 7, celebrate every single day. Celebrate your victories, the big ones and the little ones. Celebrate the lessons that are helping you grow as an individual, but celebrate them. One of the things I grew up with is we were not allowed to talk. We're not allowed to put on airs, right? You do not talk about things that are good or right because that's bragging and that's a sin. But you could talk about how you suffered for God. That was, not only was that acceptable, that was preferred. So, we would have long conversations about how we're suffering for God because that makes us better Christians. And so learning how to celebrate victories was very difficult because, again, just like learning how to, give yourself approval and learning how to experience and express divine forgiveness, we are not taught how to celebrate life. We're taught that it's okay to complain and whine and vent, but it's not okay to say, woohoo, go me. Yeah, it is. Celebrate you. Celebrate you. You don't have to be obnoxious to be celebratory. You don't have to say, I got the new job and you didn't, losers, right? All you have to do is say, I am so proud that my hard work and dedication is paid off because I just got a promotion. And I want to celebrate it, and, I'm taking myself out to dinner. Those that are on the path are going to chime in with, you go. Congratulations, good job. They're not going to chime in with, well, must be good for you. Why? Because those people aren't on the path yet. They'll get there, but if they can't celebrate you, they're not celebrating them. And they need what? They need an example. Be the example. Be the example of how to celebrate everything. I posted a picture on Facebook the other day of a dime I found on the ground. I was celebrating that dime. What a wonderful moment of spirit message, right? It was a dime, but yet I celebrated it because it meant something to me. Get used to celebrating you. Celebrate everything about you. If you're an introvert and you don't want to celebrate publicly, that's fine. But celebrate you. Celebrate everything about your life. Number 8, answer the call for love. There is a loud call for love on this planet. Every time someone expresses to you their anger or their brokenness, realize that what they're doing is they're calling for love. Don't answer their call with judgment or fear or anger or hate. Answer the call with love. That is not easy always. Sometimes it is when you're in your love bubble and you're shining that light worker, you're holding that light up and you're like, hey guys, I'm in the zone. Come follow me. But what about on the bad days? What about on the bad days where you just want to get lost in misery yourself? Where you just want to fall to pieces? Take a deep breath, find your center, and find love. Read something to inspire you, to uplift you, to help you, to encourage you. Call a friend. Get that love yourself so that you can turn around and answer the call for others. On this planet, at any given time, there are two predominant energies: an offering of love and a call for love. Offer it, answer the call. And when you need it, you can call for love yourself. And then your people, your tribe, those people can answer the call for you. Scott and I have had countless people answer the call for love since his injury. And we are grateful and hopefully answering the call of others along the way. So life is going to happen. You know, it's life on earth, right? You're going to get traumatic brain injuries. He just rolled his eyes at me. You're going to stub your toe, right? There's going to be accidents. There's going to be people who hurt you, who betray you, who offend you. There's going to be people who steal. There's going to be all of that. It's life on earth. But remember, every energy is either an offering of love or a call for love. You just have to figure out what you're in the presence of and adjust accordingly. Answer the call for love. Number 9, as above, so below. So within, or as within, so without. Find balance. In any given moment, you should be finding your balance. When someone is calling for love, answer the call. When you're calling for love, let someone answer the call. Find your balance. You know, you can't let garbage in all day and listen to CNN and Fox News and do political stuff all day long where you're listening to every single thing that's wrong anywhere on this planet, and then walk around happy and joyful and spreading love. You know, why? Because what comes in is what goes out. And that's why one of the things we talk about in every master class I teach is rule number 1 is nourish your soul daily. It's just like your physical body. If you want your physical body to be able to get up and go to work and do things or run a marathon or function for you in any capacity, you're going to have to take care of it physically. It needs water, it needs food, it needs sunlight, probably needs some vitamins, it needs rest, it needs a place to sleep. These are the things your body needs to be able to perform for you, to get you to work, to drive you somewhere, to do your job, to take care of your loved ones, to mow your lawn, to do your laundry, to do your dishes. This is what your body needs. Guess what? Your soul needs it too. In order to help you see people with clarity, in order to help you answer the call for love, in order to help you practice divine forgiveness, in order to help you see that the only approval you need is your own, you have to feed it. As above, so below. As within, so without. What you put into your body determines what it gives to you. What you put into your soul determines what it gives to you. You have to nourish it. You have to feed it. You have to love it. You do these things, and then your energy, your consciousness, your soul can do the same for you. Again and again and again. Find balance. You know, it's like when you get, who has ever been inspired and worked on a project way too long? Whether that is cleaning a room, writing something, painting something, and then maybe the next day you need to do nothing. The next day you're dead to the world. Like you don't even make it off the couch. Why? Because you're finding balance. That's it. You're finding balance. You see, the pendulum went this far, and you worked a lot, and you used up all that energy. So the next day, the pendulum has to come back and balance itself. Oops. Hey, that was kind of cool, right? Balance itself out. Find balance. Find balance in what you speak. Find balance in the things that you listen to. Find balance in your daily actions. You will naturally, most of the time, gravitate towards that balance. Sometimes you have to recognize that you've gone so far out of balance that corrective actions must be taken. You know, particularly we do that when we're in a state of fight, flight, or freeze. We can get ourselves in adrenal fatigue, and then we might not realize we're so far out of balance. But most of the time, your body's going to demand it, and your soul's going to demand it. And what we don't want to do in those moments is push ourselves even harder to get through. Listen to it. When you're needing balance, listen. Give yourself the rest or the food or the nurture or the nourishment so that you can move forward. The list for how to live an authentic life could really go on forever, I think, because every expression of authenticity is its own list, right? Finding balance, divine forgiveness, practicing gratitude. All of these things are just tools that help you live an authentic life. But to live in the authenticity, you just have to remember this. When your thoughts, your words, and your actions, or your beliefs, your words, and your actions all match, you're in a place of authenticity. No one can give you permission to be you. No one. I mean, even here, you have permission to be you, but does that do anything? Does that change anything if I stand in front of you and say, okay, you now have permission to be who you are. You now have permission to live your truth. Does it change anything? No, of course not. Because nobody can give you permission to be you because you do not need it. And so many times that is probably one of the biggest things people see me for in coaching is maybe they have a spiritual gift they want to embrace. Maybe they're a healer. Maybe they want to sing. Maybe they want to write. Maybe they want to dance. There's something that they want to do, that they already have the gift. What they're looking for is someone to come along and say, okay, you have the gift, now you get permission to use it. It doesn't work that way. I mean, if it did, every person with a spiritual gift right now would be out there using it, because we've all been given permission over and over again, because we cannot be given permission. It has to come from within. Has to come from right here. You are the only one who can give yourself permission to be authentic. You are the only one who can give yourself permission to be you. And it's a decision. As crazy as we make it sound and all of these tools, it comes down to a decision. I'm going to be more authentic. I'm going to let my actions match my beliefs. And I'm going to let my beliefs match my words. And when those three things align, you have authenticity. You're living your truth. You're living your purpose, your passion, and you're doing what you came here to do. And it's really not that hard. Sounds like it, but it begins with what? A simple, single decision. And I hope that you'll make that decision now. Just one moment at a time, one thought at a time, one act at a time, the embracing of one belief at a time. One more step towards authenticity. It takes practice. It does take practice, doesn't it? Okay, well, let that be your goal today. One more step for authenticity. All right, so anyone have any questions? And then we're going to move into our prayer requests. Nope.
May I ask, we're talking about balance.
Mm-hmm.
I broke my leg 2 years ago. I have no balance. Does that coordinate with spiritual balance?
It absolutely can. Or it could be the thing that brings spiritual balance.
Yeah,
We're always seeking balance. And so this can be the thing that actually brings that spiritual balance in. It becomes the physical manifestation of finding the spiritual balance. I definitely follow Louise Hay. And I believe, what she says about the mind-body connection and everything. But I also believe that it's big, it's huge, it's complicated. And so something, from 14 lifetimes ago can manifest for you now because it never healed.
I understand.
And so, but yes, I do believe these things are about bringing us into balance. And so sometimes that's exactly why those experiences happen.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Anything else? Were you showing me something?
The Louise Hay app on legs.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Legs are moving us forward.
Carry us forward in life. Life is for me.
Yes. That was one of mine when I had all the leg problems. I was paralyzed on the left side. That my legs carry me forward with ease. That was one of mine every single day. Every single day. Okay, well, let's go ahead and do our closing prayer. And then we'll let Scott play. Do you need to get by? Let's go ahead and do our closing prayer, and then we'll finish up with our song. Okay.
I have two unspoken.
2 unspoken prayer requests. Unspoken. Anyone else?
Unspoken.
Unspoken. Okay. Awesome. All right. Let's go back to our heart center. Find that place where you connect directly to Spirit. That place where that God light shines through you. Where you feel that connection, you trust it, and you know it. Benevolent, loving presence of God. We come before you now in a state of deep and profound gratitude. We ask that you help us every single day live more authentic lives. That Spirit shine into us and through us so that we may be examples of the authenticity that is needed on this planet. Please help us learn to recognize the difference between an offering of love and a call for love, and help us discern how best to answer the call when it is made. We are grateful for each other and for everyone on this planet, that we may all come together in a place of harmony and empowerment for each other. We now lift up each and every single one of these unspoken prayer requests. You knew them before they were offered, and we know that the divine hand of God is already moving in everyone's life who is asking for it. We know that you honor our free will, and we must ask for divine intervention. We must be an open conduit for Spirit to move through us. We lift every person up in pure God light and surround them with the loving presence of Spirit. Again, we give our gratitude for all of the fathers and the divine masculine on this planet. In Christ's name we pray, amen.
Amen.
Thank you.